Welcome to this Mastery Empowerment course from New Earth One Network. This is designed exclusively for your higher self connection and embodiment. Welcome to this Mastery Empowerment course. We are with Mariah Forrest, who is living in ascended consciousness, and she is here to share with us the landscape of nature is also the landscape within us, and she's going to share why that is and bring forth some very beautiful codes that we can receive to amplify our own awareness on our ascension journey. Mariah, thank you for being here. This is the divine nature of forward evolution.
Thank you so much for hosting me, Lorraine. It's wonderful to be here again.
Tell us about this course. This is an introduction to a 2-hour course that's coming up. And it's beautiful because we are bringing forth the codes of Earth. Tell us why this is important and how we can use these codes in our life.
The landscapes of Mother Earth are the landscapes of our consciousness. So if you think of the starry night sky, those are the patterns of our creation. And then on Mother Earth, that light is sending forth through all the suns to arrive here and materialize into form. And our bodies are part of that form, and our consciousness is residing in our bodies. So there's no separation between us and Mother Earth. Her landscapes are the landscapes of our consciousness. So your lifetimes and all the different timelines on all the different continents, those experiences are what you've learned from her. When we go through a storm, we know how to balance ourselves. We know how to trust. We are the waterfall connected to the flow of life. The river flows from the mountains of wisdom to the ocean of oneness through all the different landscapes. We know how to transform ourselves, to metamorphosize. We are the butterfly. We know we are the wisdom of the mountains. So as form, when the earth was originally created, right, this is the part I remember. I don't know why I remember that part, but I do. I remember being witness to the avatars creating it. And those sounds, the singing of the patterns of light, pushing the threads of light into the original designs, then materialized into form, right? And then slowly over eons of time, that form descends and then it becomes more dense and more dense and more dense until the most dense part are the mountains. So we speak of the mountains of wisdom. The cave of your heart in the mountains of wisdom is your divine nature, the knowledge you have in your heart that is already connected to the earth herself. We know what it feels like to be the ocean. We know those shifting tides and currents and choppy waters when the wind is blowing, the air, the mind is just doing too much. We are the earth. There's no separation between us and her. So the nature of forward evolution is really about the principles that apply, including, of course, key stories, archetypes, and then, the nature, our divine nature. So mostly, I think in terms of orientation, when you want to move forward, you have to orientate yourself as well. So you need to use the forward, our astrological earth symbol is, of course, the cross and the circle. So the cross is not only the directions, which we orientate ourselves with. It's also the elements, because form comes into being through the elements, earth, water, air, and fire, where earth is the physical body, water is the emotional body, air is the mental body, and fire is the spirit body. So to move forward, how does one move forward? And I'd have to break it down. So Lorraine, maybe you can help me with that. You can ask the right questions of which part you want me to break down, because I'm giving you like an overview now. How does the Kundalini, which is the life force on the earth, how does it move? It is the nature of the serpent to oscillate west-east. West-east. West and east are sunset and sunrise. Completion, new beginnings. This is the first and second dimension as well, upon which all other dimensions follow. We have to complete something in order to have a new beginning, and that's how the serpent oscillates, how it moves. But there is first of all, to move forward, now we take the archetypes. What do you need to be? Who do you need to be to move yourself forward? You can't be disempowered. You have to be in your power. And that archetype is the king and the queen. Because the king and the queen are the boss of our hearts, for lack of another word. And our heart is where we're at home. So it's the castle of our consciousness. And the castle of the consciousness belongs to the kingdoms of heaven that we are landing. When we are self-empowered, we move ourselves forward in the direction, north and south, of course, also being what I call the mountains of wisdom, but future and past. Past experience gives us wisdom. Not going to do that again. It hurts a little bit too much. And future is like from where we come. It's our original design and its structure from the beginning. So you've got to balance north and south and west and east to come into the center of your heart. Now you're oscillating west and east, completion, new beginnings. But what do we need from there? What does it mean? The colors, first of all, are what we call the threefold flame. The threefold flame, you see the key to it as the fleur-de-lis on royal fabric. This is one of the keys. You also see it in the gates in Hyde Park. You see it on the king and queen's crowns. You see it everywhere. It's one of the keys. And that fleur-de-lis or threefold flame are the colors of the sunrise and the sunset. Those colors also mean something. Your whole body, when you balance those three colors, your whole body becomes enveloped in those flames of light. And then we're able to transform with a new beginning, completely transform ourselves into a new moment and forward motion into the new beginning, into a new, whatever you're wanting to, birth. So now we look at the colors. So first is blue for willpower, and then we have pink for compassion, and then we have yellow or gold, which is wisdom. So if you take those, you need to use your willpower to move yourself into compassion, to move yourself out of your suffering, to let go of your suffering. You have to have compassion for yourself before another, because otherwise you get sacrificed. You need to have compassion for yourself, for your own suffering. I am willing, willpower, to release this suffering. For I ask myself, what have I learned from it? And in this understanding, I now have the wisdom to make a new choice, a new decision, to choose love for myself. So what am I ultimately doing? I'm loving myself. So how do I move myself forward? Those three flames, they sound, blue for willpower, pink for loving compassion, and gold for wisdom and how they arrive. But the depth of the process, it's like businessmen have so much willpower and not enough compassion. And hippies have so much compassion, so much pink, and not enough willpower to actually get stuff done sometimes. We just chill back and think about it a little more and talk and whatever. We know these characteristics in ourselves, these archetypes, and we know who we are. We have to balance them. And once you become conscious of, okay, hold on, I have to use my willpower here. Nothing's going to happen unless I breathe into compassion, connect into compassion. Now, what does compassion feel like? And then you have to get the feeling, because we have to move through the emotional body, because water is the connector. Water surrounds the continents. It holds everything in place. And then your wisdom arrives. Now, between compassion and wisdom, of course, there's a whole process. You have, once you find compassion for your suffering and you're willing to let it go, you need to understand, okay, what did I learn from this? You have to accept. You need to forgive. And then you find the wisdom of what I've learned. And in that, those are the final words of Yeshua, right? Forgive myself, forgive them, myself, for they know not what they do. It's not them. Them is me, the perpetrator. That you have that victim persecutor consciousness. Persecutor is not that person that gave you the suffering. They didn't give it to you. They gave it to you because they weren't strong enough to hold it themselves. So they gave it to you, but they are now in you. So it's you. It's all you. So you're letting your suffering go, not because of them, because of you're not going to do this to yourself anymore. It's time. Does that make sense? So the course will be going through the process of each section where we have to find our self-empowered aspects, the king and the queen. We have to go into what's missing. And normally I want to say, look, I get guided. I'm a medium, right? So the group will have, the reason the group will come together is because they will have similar stories. So there's certain processes. For example, you need the lotus flower. To find compassion, you have to be connected to your feeling body. Those that don't have the design of the lotus flower in them, and there's a whole story that goes around that, and that needs to be given. So what I do then is I follow the principles of what I understand about the nature of it, and then spirit guides me. So the people will do the work. Okay, if this is you working, not me. I'm holding space and giving you the codes, and you're working. As I sing, and each song is usually about 10 minutes. As I sing, I'm unlocking consciousness. And what you will do on that side is you will go into your breath and you will trust. Some people get a feeling, some people get a word, and some people get a whole movie. Some people just get pictures. But what you do is I give you time afterwards, and then you write them down. And if you don't understand it, I teach you what it means, and I will answer the questions. In theory, I would like to do that 3 times so that we can, you can move forward, so the people in the group, and they understand what they've learned, what you've learned from it. But, at the time, I don't know. Like, I'll just have to see how much time there is and what we're capable of. So I'll teach you the theory like I am today, tell you where we are in it, and then we go in, and I'm a medium. I follow what I'm guided, and I will show you, and then unlock, be told what I'll give you the theory, and then I'll unlock and then answer questions. If I don't understand a visual or something, I just ask. So then I consult with Star Nations, and I get shown what it is, and understanding as well. Yeah, it's actually fun.
Yes, it's actually fun. This process of releasing our suffering so that we can have compassion with ourselves to find the wisdom that's within us. That's where we're going. And so here we are in advance of a new year coming about. And this is a wonderful time to do this practice. And you do sing the codes. Tell us a little bit about what it is that you're singing, what it is that you're channeling, and then maybe we can do a generic or a general process so people can get a feel and a sense of the codes that you give.
Okay. All right. So the codes are like the underlying program before form comes into being. There's a difference between the codes and the sounds of the avatars, right? The avatars is it's the highest because they're the creators of the universe. The Elohim bring form into being, and they do it under the guidance of the Devic kingdom and the elemental kingdom. So what I'm doing is I'm commanding the light, because I'm as a part of the Elohim's light, I'm commanding the light and telling it what to do. Okay, so if you can get a visual, what is the light? You have the earth elementals, you have the water, Andines, then you have the air, sylphs, and then you have the fire salamanders. They're like little characters, because the light of creation is available to all creator beings. But the light of our creator's heart, and this light comes into form through the Elohim. So you see it in nature, everywhere around you. All nature is our creator's heart. It's our divine nature. It's who we are. What we're wanting to do, it's the design of the starry night sky. That's who we are. That's the light of our creation. And what we're wanting to do is to unite our light with the earth herself in the blueprint design. So one might say, okay, you can say the God name Yahweh, Yadevade, right? Because you'll hear me singing that a lot. If there's a distortion and we need to to bring you back into balance. I go in with the light of the avatars at the highest light level, which means it goes in at the deepest. As high as you go, as low as you go. So as the higher light, the deepest into the dark. And then calling back the blueprint design. So what you would do now at home is you would come into your heart. Hello, my heart, how are you? And what brings you into presence, of course, is not how I wish I felt or not how I felt yesterday, but coming into a sense of find a word for the feeling in your heart. What is this now? What is this key? This one word. For this one word is connected to the story that's playing out for me in consciousness right now, my narrative. And then when I start to sing, you will, in your heart, just staying connected to that feeling, you wait to see what arises. And don't expect anything, because some people don't trust themselves enough. And you have to learn to do that. It's a process. Some people don't have open vision yet. And they just get like a feeling, or they think they get a word. And that's perfect. Not everybody gets a movie. And you get what you need, though. Spirit will give you what you need, because that's the process. And that's why you're here, is for it to all be opened. And then afterwards, if you don't understand the visuals or what you've got, I can help with that. And that's what I like to do as well, because it's always very interesting, right? And of course, when one person asks a question, it gets gifted to the whole, which is so wonderful, because then you really get to see the uniqueness of each person's consciousness. Because actually what's happening is when I'm unlocking, it's bringing the unconscious into consciousness. So it's going into the dark and bringing it into the light, illuminating.
So, okay, as you were speaking there, we went into our heart, and we're looking for the suffering, right? We're looking for the dense light, or the density, the negative emotions. So we can do that. And so this will be a good process for us. Is it other things like, what if someone doesn't feel any negative or dense emotion?
That's perfect too.
That's perfect too.
They will get whatever they need to connect into. They will be given the light and the pathway forward.
Okay.
Might feel they're not blocked, there might not be anything on them, in which case all that's going to happen is the pathway forward is going to be illuminated to them. They will get what they need.
And so the codes that you're singing, these are from the Elohim and the avatars, or the
codes are from the Elohim. The sounds are from the avatars, yeah. The codes, it's the program, underlying form.
Okay. Let's do a little experiential. Is it time for that? Where we can, it's generic enough for anyone to get a little taste and to take a little process, a little journey of this.
We can. Will you have a question for me afterwards so people can understand how it works? Will you open that people can ask?
Yes, I will open. I'll share mine. If it gets too personal, I'll try to make it a little generic without revealing too many details. Okay.
All right. And then I'll tell you what I see, If I can remember, sometimes I'm so busy in it and there's such a lot in the story that I just get key. But it's very nice for me, because often when people are speaking, they remember, oh yes, I also saw that. Oh yes, I also saw that. All right, so coming into our hearts. Hello, my heart, how are you? See if you can find a word. Feel connected. Don't be afraid of your feelings. Perhaps even consciously thinking to yourself, imagining, what is it that I want to move forward from? I want to leave behind. I want to complete. I want the sunset, the completion of this day, this cycle, this karmic cycle, so that I can move forward in my life. And then just relaxing and trusting yourself, feeling this breath of trust, that you'll get exactly what you need. Oyanjaya waya waya yo 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 wayanjikaya. Oyanjotaya gitiya yanjatalandanjikiya ayayandajiya. Onjoyo chiquitoyo, oyo taya yanjatikia, oyo kaya dia. Oyon joyon taya chiki, oyon taya, oyon tiki. Oyo yanda yawandichi ayanjadala yanda chikiki akata. Oyanjaya wanda chalandi chikikia. Oyanja tikikia randa chikikia. Yo yondi aya yanjandai. Oyo kaya anjiki daya. Yo yo amba yo 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 You could hear in the last section, you're making a note if you'd like to, and then you could hear in the last section the God name Yahweh, Yadeh, the codes coming in for the realignment, the blueprint landing. And this is always so, and then of course I went into just the sounds of the avatars of the codes as well, which is, just pushing the light threads into those original patterns of our original creation.
No wonder I felt like crying there for a moment. And I will share that you had mentioned that one question in the group that gets asked is relevant to all the others. And so what my heart was saying, and I feel like crying because I feel that there is a completion. There's certainly the desire, the willingness for the completion. And so as we balance, this is what you're going to help me with, and all of us who resonate with this question. Okay, light workers, I couldn't narrow it down to one word. It was more than one word. It was a few phrases of what I'm feeling. And one word is playing small, or hesitant to step out, to step up more, and then to be seen, which is very interesting. So I could feel from that, the moving forward is an empowerment to feel what that feels like if those feelings, those phrases that I expressed were no more. And that's the empowering feeling. And that's where the tears came from, because I can sense it, I can feel it. And it is what is holding not only me, but other light workers back. We all, I don't know if it comes from being on this planet in past lives and being shut down in past lives from it. So that's what came up for me.
Beautiful. And you were conscious, of what you were moving through. And this is what's so amazing. Like, you went in with an open mind and you were like, all right. It's interesting that empowerment came up, because I do feel that as well. I do feel like we're so disempowered on the planet, whether it be in relationship, whether it be to substances, whether it be to, because remember now, I work with the nature elementals, right? Which means that anything outside the laws of nature, for me, needs to be removed. So for us to be in our power and united with the earth herself, we need to have that light, that with the characters of the nature elementals, that light is called the Holy Spirit. So what we're doing is we're aligning you with your vertical light stream, the Holy Spirit, bringing you into alignment, and through all lines of time, of course, because those circles and cycles, what happens is they line up vertically as you come into. So whatever, this is what's so interesting, because I have, I've been doing this for quite a few years now, is whatever pattern you're running here now is running in other timelines. So when you clear them, you first line up the timelines and then you clear them through, because it's the same, it's in your consciousness. We have to take it all the way back. So for example, a fear, and this is one that's come up recently a few times. A fear of power, our power is usually because we've either abused our power, which is normally the case, and now we're afraid of our power because what if we mess up again? And one that comes up quite recently, quite a lot, is people who were very present in Atlantis and were part of, didn't listen to their intuition, didn't stand up and find their voice so that they could stop things from the consciousness from falling, had a fear because they were also part of the destructive process. And then, because it's all us, right? It's all, what is consciousness? It's the evolution of consciousness. It's all us. And so what I've had to do is they've got this fear of their own power in this lifetime, but it goes all the way back to Atlantis. So we literally have to clear it all the way back to the very beginning, where the person realizes, but I'm not going to make that mistake again because I know what happened. I don't have to have this fear. It's not necessary. I have the wisdom. I know what I learned from that experience. I'm not going to repeat it. And in that comes this acceptance. I forgive myself for what happened. And now I have the wisdom to do differently, to choose differently. And so we move forward into higher levels, new levels of empowerment, and not being afraid. Also that victim persecutor consciousness. Normally we're disempowered because we did abuse our power. And, it's, finding your voice when you've abused your voice is not easy. Especially, if for example, you're disempowered with your voice. And so on.
So how do we align those past lifetimes to clear it?
Oh yeah, I usually just sing them in. It's very easy to do. Yeah, it's very easy because it's patterns, right? So it's just patterns of lining. So what happens is, as soon as I identify the patterns all go, and then it's like circles. The circles slide into your light stream, which is like a tube of light, right? So it just slides in. Those timelines slide in, and then but I get instructions along the way, like slow down, because it's like grids, and then I'm going between them, and they're different sizes. So I have to push everything in so everything goes into place, because the grids are coming down, the light is coming down, we're becoming multidimensional, we're remembering ourselves through all those timelines. So I'm singing through them and connecting them, and then I'll get told, slow down, okay, do that one again, you didn't get it quite right, and, it has to be exact, yeah.
So this mini process that we just did, is that done and helping people clear if they resonate with that issue as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Whether they understand, of course, what they've let go of is, that's where the part you don't understand is the answers. I will do my best. Well, I do, because I just ask. If I don't know the answer, I just ask. So I get given the answer. So yeah. So if there's somebody who didn't understand that, I could help them with that.
Well, then that explains the tears that I felt as that was becoming back in alignment. So what do we need to do? What needs to be done from here? I guess that old pattern is gone. And so we're fresh to create anew. So go forward boldly, right?
Yeah, and more than likely that will come through as well. So I'm the medium, so I'll just, maybe we only do two, maybe we do one releasing and one bringing in the new, birthing the new consciousness, but that's also calling in the new light. So look, the emotions you feel, Lorraine, are extremely important because the emotional body connects us. It's so, the work is being done when you feel.
Mm-hmm. The tears.
Yes. And now at this time, because at this time with the crystalline consciousness, the Christ-aligned consciousness, Christmas time, actually the lotus flower is so important. We need to do that one. We'll do it next time. It's like, because it's Om Mani Padme Hum. I am the jewel in the lotus flower, which is what? It's the crystalline DNA. So you need that design, you need that pattern. And of course, King is Jupiter, Sagittarius, which is open now, which is why it's Christmas time, because we're empowered to receive those light encodings. And, now, if I give advice now, at this time, imagine yourself sitting on the top of a mountain on a slab of gold and breathe in the love of Father Son. Receive his love and feel it, because this is the design, the true design, the archetypal parents of Mother Earth and Father Sun, Father Sky. Breathe in that light and feel how it feels to feel so loved. And then on the out breath, send your love back to him. And on the in breath, receive the love again. If you can do that for 5 minutes, ideally, 10 to 15, but if you can do that for 5 minutes focused, what's happening is because all the portals are open now, and the empowerment, the ability, Jupiter's helping us, you can land the crystalline frequencies of light. It's exciting. Just do it once and you'll see. The feeling you get is pure love. And it's this time of the year that we get this. So this is the now. This is when you do it. Find the discipline, find the willpower. Discipline, the word disciple comes from discipline. Be the disciple of your heart and do this now. Closes, I think, on the 21st or the 22nd of December. So.
Say that again. It's the portal is open until the 21st?
Well, then when we move into Capricorn, so then, everything shifts, all the portals shift again, everything shifts, all the openings shift.
Okay. All right. Be the disciple of your heart. I love that. Can you also explain more about becoming the lotus or the lotus within, the Om Padma Mani Om?
So the lotus flower, the teaching of the lotus flower is, for the Garden of Eden to be returned, you need the designs, the patterns of the tree of life, the flower of life, the seed of life, and the fruit of life. Now, the tree has all of them, right? Some flowers, the tree is, the Lord follows is as above, so below. The flower is opening your heart to the light of the sun, of the love of your Father, Father Sun, Father Christmas. The Father consciousness, the King, Jupiter, who's in charge now at the moment, all right? Sagittarius time. Opening your heart to the light of the sun. But most flowers grow on the earth, but the lotus flower grows in the water, the emotional body. It's about connection in the emotional body. So how does the lotus flower work? The roots grow through clear waters. You have clarity, you understand how you feel. You know the words. You understand perfectly how you feel. Now the roots go into the mud. You can't see anything. You have no vision. All you have is you're feeling your way through it. Feeling, emotional body. And then the roots get into the earth. Now this is your emotions and your physical body, your earth body. It is the connection that's happening between there, because in your DNA, in the earth herself, are the jewels. The diamonds, the rubies, the sapphires, the crystals, all of it, the crystalline DNA. So you have to trust your feelings, just the feeling. There's no other way you can go through this. What does Thich Nhat Hanh say? No mud, no lotus. You have to go through, feel your way into the earth, into the body, feel into the body. Keep asking yourself every 10 minutes, hello, my heart, how are you? Because the feeling is strongest around the heart. And then you've got the jewels, the DNA activate, the crystalline DNA activate. And it's a natural flow. It's our nature. That's how it works. These are the keys. These stories, the nature stories, are the keys. And yes, we have all the archetypes, but there's no separation. We are. This is the divine nature of being. This is who we are. One just needs to understand what it means. So, Om Mani Padme Hum, I am the jewel in the lotus flower. I open my heart to the light of the sun. I breathe it in. I feel connected. I trust my feelings. Because sometimes, we ignore that. It's connecting to our intuition and everything, isn't it? That feeling of I'm not safe, or this feels like love. This feels like a yes. This feels like a maybe. This feels like a no. And that's how we trust ourselves.
So as we tune into the feelings and we get feelings, we sit with those feelings. What else is there to do? As we connect, opening our heart to the light of the Father Son, then that is doing the work to shift the consciousness out of those feelings. Is that what is happening?
Well, that particular design is about trust, actually. It's about trusting yourself. Because if you want to move forward on your journey, you have to trust yourself with the new decisions you're making. Mm-hmm. And a lot of us at the moment don't trust ourselves because we've made some crummy decisions. It's a bit of a mess. We're not so connected anymore. We don't feel that connection into the body, into trusting our intuition. I should have known better, and so on. I hurt myself. I've created a lot of pain and suffering for myself. So it's learning to trust ourselves now.
And that's the work, is just to trust ourselves. So if we're sitting with something and maybe we feel shameful or guilty, that's an emotion that comes up in the emotional body. How does that transform?
Acceptance first, because you have compassion for your suffering, right? That's the nature. Remember, you use your willpower, and then you connect into compassion. And within the compassion, you find acceptance. All right, I accept. I feel like this now. Okay, what did I learn from it? And I forgive myself for living with the suffering for so long and letting it go. Forgiveness. You know what forgiveness looks like? It's so interesting. We should do that one too. It's so interesting. Forgiveness is a spirit. He's kind of like an Egyptian. He's got wings. He's a Holy Spirit, right? A being. And he has a beak nose like an owl. And why are owls have so much wisdom? Because they have 360-degree vision in the dark, in the unconscious. So he's like almost metallic, the way this Holy Spirit looks. He's just like, not metallic, what's it like? Egyptian almost for me, with this bird presence. But then there's a kingdom that comes with him. It's a whole structure, like palaces that come with him. And there's also a needle of truth. So that pattern, you need all three parts. You need the structure of forgiveness. You need the Holy Spirit, that spirit being. And then because, forgiving ourselves, geez, we all know, right? Wow. Like, it's not the last words of Yeshua for no reason at all. And then this needle of truth, because when you see the truth as well of what I've learned, what I went through, what I experienced, and the wisdom, the golden light, so it's blue, pink, gold, sunset, sunrise, the wisdom that I learned from it, you're ready to move forward. Okay, I've done it. I completed that cycle. I completed that lesson. I completed that day. Done.
Okay, thank you. Well, it feels refreshing, and this is a beautiful process for people to practice, to behold and make a part of our life. And we invite everyone to sign up for this workshop. Can you tell us a little bit more about the workshop? Did we cover everything there?
Yeah, it will just be the theory. I'll explain, and then we'll go into me unlocking and returning, give you what you need, the patterns you need, unlocking, and then the forward process more than likely. I know we'll have to wait and see, but yeah. And I'll do analysis in between. We'll take, so I usually sing for 10 minutes, but who knows if the crowd is bigger? I don't know. I just follow guidance, and then asking questions for those that don't understand what they received, and then going on, and we'll see how much time we have. Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. All right, the link for that is right here on this webpage, and we are excited for you to join in during this beautiful time of year to access and embody crystalline light and clear out old patterns that no longer serve. Thank you, Maria. This is beautiful. And I wanted to share a little story since what we see out in nature is a reflection for us, or maybe it is. I'll share this story and see what your take is on it. It was a beautiful story with owls. And one morning I woke up and it was 5 a.m. The light was just coming out and I heard a loud bang. And I was like, what is that? So I get up and a baby owl, well, I'm jumping ahead. I get up and I had seen on our terrace a bird had flew into our window and it was knocked out and it was laying on the terrace and its wing was spread out and it looked like it was not alive and not moving at all. My instinct was just to begin toning. And as I began toning, I heard the word really loud, believe. And I could feel an energy that almost made me cry again. And then suddenly, after a few minutes, maybe 2 or 3 minutes, the bird moved and then it popped right up and it was a baby owl. And the eyes were still closed. And I kept toning, but I did run to get my camera. So I came back and I kept toning and I had pictures and video. And then all of a sudden, after a few more minutes, so maybe, like 6, 7 minutes had gone by, the eyes opened, golden eyes, and it turned and looked right at me. And it still sat there. I didn't know if it had died standing up before it opened its eyes. And I kept toning, and the sound of the tone turned into the sound of an owl, a hoot, which I witnessed and was like, wow, that's interesting. But I just let the sound come through. And then a few more minutes, the owl flew away. And then a few days later, I was on my terrace again in the evening, and there was a palm tree right in front of the terrace, and a big owl. We have two, the mom and the dad. A big owl came and landed on the leaf and turned its head and just looked right at me. And that was just so amazing. So your intuition, I've got my intuition of what was going on there, but it would be lovely to hear what was going on there from your perspective.
So the owl is wisdom, right? Because it has 360-degree view in the dark. It's also a spirit, a bird. So it lives on the earth plane and off the earth plane as well. So it's a part of your spirit. It was a baby birthing new wisdom.
Okay.
Now, and then more than likely that happened first, and then you became fearful of your empowerment again, because that's what normally happens. When we have the wisdom to move forward, we start, getting a little concerned about how powerful we might be and what we're going to do with that power. Yeah.
Or we turn around and look at how we judge ourselves, or even we open the window a little bit for others to judge us. Like if someone does judge us, we let that in. At least I did. I'm thinking right now. So very interesting. Very interesting.
That's why you need forgiveness, right? Because remember, you let it in itself. Yeah. It's all a mirror. Everything's a mirror. The owl's a mirror of your own wisdom, and the person you let in is a mirror. Everything's a mirror. If the soul came to the planet to learn, how does it see itself except in the mirror? Beautiful. It's all self. Yeah. So you saw your wisdom, and then you looked at it. And it's interesting because you have a very strong witness, right? I ran to get my camera, witness it all. Yeah, we always have all three. Yeah, the masculine, the feminine, and the witness. So it's also, yeah.
Okay. Well, beautiful. Thank you for this. Is there anything else you'd like to add about this process and this class coming up during this time of year, and how people can work with it and really make an impact in their life?
The first ray is is the blue ray on the planet. You know, it's also the color of heaven, right? It's freedom. It's heaven. It's also willpower. The first ray is willpower. To move forward, you first need willpower, the willingness to want to do it. So when coming to the course, set your intentions. What is it that I'm willing to complete in order to have a new beginning? Because I am landing the kingdoms of heaven on earth. I'm returning heaven. Heaven and earth are uniting. I'm ready to move forward in love.
And with that, we feel complete and we are ready for that forward evolution. So we invite everyone to the divine nature of forward evolution, transformational to say the least. Mariah, thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me. Wonderful. Thank you, Lorraine.